So I'm on my way to the Lexington area to meet up with a good buddy of mine, and we are going to review the Henry Ar7. So today I had quite a few issues with this rifle. I've had it for a few years. I really believed in it at first and loved it, and invested quite heavily in it with the stock.
Continue straight onto Kentucky Route 226.
The stock, the scope, you know, the adapters, the rails, everything else. But today we're really going to put it through its paces, and I think we're going to wrap this review up.
Continue.
Jam, 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 jam. So what my plan was on this trip was to have a little competition with some buddies. We started out shooting chalk at about 50 yards. My buddy Chris, we let him shoot a bolt action instead. We thought it'd be fair because it was open sights. He murdered the chalk first shot. You hit it? Yeah. With the Romanian M1969 trainer. Fantastic little lever action. I did the worst in this competition. Big surprise. I sucked in this little competition, but going into this, I was afraid that we were going to have issues, but I did kind of have high hopes. I had a brand new barrel from Henry. I had 2 new good magazines. We're oiled up. We were cleaned up. There's no reason that we should have had any issues. So although I was afraid that we were going to, I thought there was a pretty good chance also that we would have a pretty good time and be impressed with the rifle because it has potential for decent accuracy and pretty decent reliability. What happened, however, was exactly what I was afraid of. This little clip here kind of accurately shows the overall mood and feeling of the event. Jams and frustration. So before I go into a dialogue with my buddy from the Gear Shock, a rimfire guy, about our experience with the rifle, I want to do a brief and quick synopsis of what is wrong with the Henry Ar7. First and foremost, the biggest problem with the Henry Ar7 is the magazines. They're metal, they're very cheaply made, they're a 1960 design. They've not been modernized at all. It's 2023, we're talking about a 60-year-old design. And so not only do the magazine is the lifeblood, is the heart of any semi-automatic firearm. So you think about all of the different rifles that you think of how good, reliable, whatever they are, really the heart, all of that reliability, the foundation that all of that is built on is the magazine. The Ar7 magazines have the feed ramp partially built into them, and their tension is kept by a little spring on the side. If that spring loses tension or gets messed up at all, the magazine is essentially ruined unless you can perfectly get that tension back. I have tried to repair these magazines and I have failed. I've tried to bend them back so they look exactly the same. I thought it was going to work. It absolutely did not. So your magazine's not only brand new out of the box, they're not great. They can function decently. They're not great, but they're also extremely fragile. They will get messed up very quickly, very easily. They could get messed up in storage itself being bumped the wrong way. So the magazines are the #1 thing about the Henry Ar7 that needs to be updated, and they could be the only thing about the Ar7 that gets updated, and it would take the Ar7 to the next level. You look at the damage on the next round there even. Kind of locking this thing in. Can we please do something different than what we're doing? There we go. What a doggone nightmare. And this mag's probably ruined now. The other issue is not nearly such a big issue. It's the barrel. And it's not such a big issue because you can get aftermarket barrels. In trying to get an extremely lightweight barrel, you get a plastic wrapped sleeve, and the actual barrel itself is incredibly thin, like 1/8 of an inch or 1/16 of an inch or something. And what that means is that with 1 or 2 oopsies of the firing pin, you will dent the barrel, which will put a burr into the chamber, and your reliability is gone. So extreme survival situation, all right? You're hungry, you're thirsty, you're dehydrated, you're shaking, you're sleep deprived, you're incredibly stressed, you miss your, 6 shots, 8 shots out of your magazine, you press the trigger one more time in a moment trying to smoke the squirrel, you hear click and no bang, firing pin hits your chamber, all reliability is gone. You now basically have an occasional bolt action. Now, this is an issue, but you can buy replacement barrels that are solid metal. That would likely resolve a lot of this issue because a lot of firearms, a lot of rimfires out there that are not made to be dry fired, a lot of rifles from the early 1900s were still accidentally dry fired all the time by kids, this, that, and the other. And you can buy these 60 or 80-year-old rifles that have been shot until the bores are almost smooth and the rifling is ruined, but they'll still be reliable even though they had all of those strikes because they have a lot of steel to support the chamber. So this is not as big of an issue as the magazines because it's an issue that has been taken up by the aftermarket already. Now, in my opinion, what Henry needs to do, they absolutely have an obligation to update this rifle design. The magazines need to be updated. Go talk to Magpul or something. Get a new magazine that's reliable, that retains retention at the lips or something like that in a modern way, and make it so that the receiver can be designed with a last round bolt hold open. That would help incredibly, not exactly necessary. Besides that, the receiver itself, get a bolt hold open function. Before Instagram absolutely deleted all like Patriots, gun people, knife people, all of that, there is this Asian guy who's 3D printing. He used stock Henry AR7 parts, 3D printed his own receiver, and made an AR7 on his own that had a last round bolt hold open feature. So if a single guy with a single guy's budget can design this rifle better, Henry absolutely should do it. And I think Henry should do it because although they can sell as many of these as they can make right now, they claim to take pride in their products. And if they take pride in their products, there's no reason to be selling a rifle that's exactly the same as it was 60 years ago and has a long-term reputation for crap reliability. Also, put a standard rail on the top of it so it can mount a scope without an adapter. Again, it's 2023. And if you do these things, the aftermarket will come. You'll have more barrel choices, more stock choices, etc. You will make a rifle that is worth being proud of. So with all of that being said, I want to segue straight into my discussion with Justin. We talked for a little while about it at length, but the synopsis here. I don't recommend anybody buy an AR7 for any reason except for nostalgia because you just like it because it's not right. If you are choosing a survival rifle like, oh, it doesn't need to be that reliable because it's a survival rifle. You do not choose an unreliable and somewhat inaccurate firearm for survival when your life is literally on the line. Think about this. You could get a Browning Buckmark or a Ruger Mark IV that is the same weight or lighter, has the same potential accuracy or greater, has far superior reliability and durability, and it would take up far less space. But it doesn't float. How many times have you needed your gun to float? If you've ever needed your gun to float, it's probably a you problem, but that can be fixed with a floaty. So, without further ado, let's get into the discussion itself. All right, guys, I'm here with Justin today. Now, Justin owns the Gear Shack, and you might be familiar with the Gear Shack. He donated a Worksharp sharpener, the proceeds of which were supposed to go to Knife Rights. It hasn't sold yet because both times we sold it at auction, the buyer disappeared on me. So that will still come. But he is, you could say Justin knows a thing or two about the rim fire, if you know what I mean. So we're out here shooting the Ar7. Is it better or worse than you thought?
It's about what I expected.
Yeah?
It's about what I expected. Accuracy-wise, surprisingly, is better.
Yeah.
It is a pretty accurate platform. There's a lot of potential there. It's extremely lightweight compared to the match guns I'm used to running, so you do have to focus on your fundamentals more. But overall, if it weren't for the reliability issues, it'd be a great little rifle. I mean, and when it runs good. It's just getting it to run.
We've got one mag today that was running good. I had 4 mags. One of my original mags was defective. Henry sent me another 2. That was awesome. Another one went defective. I'm a little bit afraid that my last good magazine today from a jam that you'll see here got ruined in the process of this jam. Spring tension on that little tensioner has to be exactly right. Very frustrating. So you guys see that this doesn't look like a normal AR7 here. So what happened, if you're not familiar, I bought an AR7 because everybody said that it was crap, but it was made by Henry. So I thought that that reputation must have come from Charter Arms, and I thought it's probably better. And I wanted the AR7 over something like a Ruger 1022 because the size of the receiver. There's a lot of potential that this design has to offer. And so when I first got it, I was very impressed with accuracy, especially for a plastic-lined barrel. And my reliability was quite good for quite a while. Now, we're out here shooting today. This is a brand new barrel that Henry sent me. No damage to the chamber. There are some updates to the barrel that I'll show you guys here. And reliability was still not good.
No.
Better than it was in the past. Still what I would consider to be incredibly poor. So what do we do? Here's my opinion, and let them know what you think after having fired it. But I spent all of this money because I was so happy with it. We've got the SIG MCX stock, the stock adapters Dan Haga designs. We've got a Loophole VX4R Patrol or whatever in an American Defense scope mount here. The first and the biggest issue with the AR7, in my opinion, is the magazines. The feed ramp is in the magazine. You've got a little spring clip to hold tension on the rounds. If we could get, say, Magpul to design a 10-round magazine that was completely reliable, that would instantly elevate this entire rifle to a huge degree.
Yep. If it had a better magazine design, that seems to be the big holdup. It seems to cycle fine, but just getting the round into the chamber seems to be an issue. It struggles.
Today we had jam after jam after jam. We had some bad jams. We're eating ammo out here.
Yep. I mean, there was a few rounds that just folded completely in half. And don't get me wrong, my 1022s jam as well, but not to this issue. Normally my 1022s, if they jam, it's when they're extremely dirty and it's just a slow bolt that's sluggish and you get a failure to eject completely. Right. This one's just eating ammo.
Now, I want to mention we are running CCI mini mags.
Yep.
I ran a little bit of Winchester Super X. I have far worse reliability with this with lead-nosed ammo. Now, originally this did cycle standard velocity.
Okay.
I was very impressed by that. It would not today. We're clean, we're lubed, whatever. So the other issue that Henry needs to fix, and it goes along with the magazine, a bolt hold open. So the issue that I ran into here, guys, is I would accidentally dry fire after I'd ejected the last round. Very easy to do. You only have to do that with some of the barrels offered 3 or 4 times, barrel smoked, reliability's gone. It'll literally almost immediately dent the narrow liner of the barrel. Now this one has a larger chamber, so it shouldn't dent as easily. However, there was on Instagram an Asian guy who did 3D printing of gun parts, who I think has been completely blacklisted by social media, but himself, who designed and 3D printed an Ar7 receiver that took all of the stock Ar7 parts, but had a bolt hold open. So if that bolt would hold back and you wouldn't get an accidental strike on your chamber, which would render the firearm destroyed so quickly, that would be a good thing. And so if we could get those 2 things done, I think we'd start seeing the aftermarket take off on these.
And really, you don't even have to have the last round bolt hold open. It would be nice, but they could design it to be a captured firing pin, like the 1022s, like the CZs, like your Begars. Most all of your modern rimfires have a captured firing pin that is safe for dry fire use.
Which would probably be easier than the bolt hold open.
10 times easier.
Just put a little rubber block in there, just like the 1022.
Well, most of them are just the way the clearances are designed. It's going to strike a rim, but it's not going to strike a breech face.
Right.
I mean, but thanks to the world of competition shooting, dry firing has become such an important tool for training and practicing that all your modern stuff is. So they could go back to the drawing board on that. And even though I didn't look closely at this, but I mean, that breech face could also stand to be a larger diameter as well.
Yeah.
Before that the plastic sleeve sits against.
So I'm going to show Justin this. You guys have already seen on the screen while you're watching here. But our actual chamber now is a lot better than it used to be. It used to be all plastic, and the only thing that you would see here was the little sleeve. So this is aluminum now here.
Okay.
This used to be plastic.
Right.
So there's nothing supporting the barrel sleeve at all, and it dented almost instantly. So, all right, guys. Here's the deal. It doesn't have to be reliable. It's a survival rifle. In a survival situation, you're under high stress in a bad environment. You're hungry, you're dehydrated. It's when you make the most mistakes. Your brain's not working the same. It's when something needs to be the most reliable. So the fact that this is a survival rifle is not a pass for it having shoddy reliability. So we've got all of this potential here. I want to end on this. One of my friends who owns a gun shop, I was talking to him about these simple changes that Henry needs to make to this rifle to make it acceptable. In my opinion, this rifle is unacceptable. It is not worth purchasing. If Henry made those changes to it, it would be worth purchasing. I told that to my gun shop buddy, and he said, why would they change it? I get these in, and they sell immediately. So if they can sell every one that they make off of a survival gimmick that's a lie, if they can sell every one that they can make, why would they change it? It wouldn't make sense. Let me tell you. Henry should make changes to this gun because they take pride in the product that they sell. And if Henry took pride in the product that they sell, and they actually updated this rifle from 1960, where all of this tooling and everything comes from, we would see more aftermarket for it, and we could see more market growth of this rifle, because I personally would purchase this rifle instead of a Ruger 1022 because of the size of the receiver and the weight.
I will say, on the receiver comment though, if they could design it from the get-go with this adapter on there, you'd be a lot better off.
Yep.
But once you have to add this adapter, because I think this is a lot better setup for this than the flotation stock it comes with, you're now 1022 size receiver.
Yeah.
You realistically are.
Well, you're still narrower.
You are, but
They could have options.
there could definitely be options. That's what I'm getting at. There could be options.
Our mounting screws down here, I actually, Henry and Peritu, actually ended up being on my birthday, sent me a care package, a mug, a shirt. You've seen it on the channel for years now. I wear the shirt all the time because I messaged him and I said, I think that the Henry AR7 has incredible potential. If you put a wire stock on it, I think it'd sell a lot better, maybe where parts clipped into it.
Yep.
People aren't buying the AR7 like myself because they look at the big bulbous stock and they're like, it's not the same on both sides. It's big and it's ugly. They look at it and they're like, I'm not going to buy that. So I told him if he made an option that was more aesthetically appealing, I think that they could sell more. He sent me that package. That was really cool of him. Really cool guy. He's not the president anymore.
Right.
But
my take, what I would like to see from them do, this similar setup with a hollow stock that you could still slide your barrel in your stock.
Exactly.
Side folding stock, because this is not a 99% of people are not going to be using this as it was originally intended. It's not going to get tossed in a boat or in a aircraft or something like that. That's 99% of the people it's not. But to fold this up,
you got to push on the receiver.
fold that up for me.
Sure. It takes a bit of oh, wrong hand.
But if your barrel can now slide in there,
Right.
you've got a significantly
Captured
smaller
setup.
package.
Which is nice.
It's going to be
smaller
nice,
than a 1022 takedown.
much smaller than a 1022 takedown. But it's going to be a great truck gun, even in this configuration right here. This is a great varmint gun. This is a great farm gun, tractor size gun right here. This easily will ride in a combine cab, a tractor cab, what have you, for varmints, but none of that matters when it's not reliable.
And you know what? The other thing, I put the stock on here, and the first comment that I got hundreds of comments, it doesn't float anymore. Now, I don't know about you. I do a lot of survival stuff here, guys. I do a lot of boating stuff. Never once in my life have I gone, dang it, I wish that firearm floated.
Nope, but I can guarantee you 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say I really wish this would fit in this spot in the truck or in the cab of a tractor or side by side, what have you.
Priorities.
You know, I do wish that they made the barrel nut with a longer forend.
That you can get that aftermarket.
You can? Okay.
Yeah.
But that would make this a great little package.
And here's the thing, the aftermarket, there is some aftermarket for the AR7, but there's not a lot.
Right.
There's not a lot because it has issues.
Right.
So fix those issues, you get more aftermarket. Let's see this thing be what it has the potential to be. And I am invested in this, and I'm irritated because there's so much potential here that I believe would be easy to achieve and easy to realize, and it's not being done. That's what's frustrating to me, is we're so close.
Yep.
But as it stands, no go.
Yep. I
love Henry as a company. This is a no-go. I'm gonna probably part it out. I'm gonna sell it. I thought that I believed in Henry when I bought this. I thought I was gonna prove everybody wrong. It was gonna be long-term reliable. It's more accurate than I expected, but heck it.
Yep. Yeah, I'll echo those sentiments. I mean, it's got a lot of potential, but without being reliable, it's pointless. And the thing with rimfires, if it's not if it's not reliable under pristine range conditions, clean with perfect ammo, it's not going to be counting any other time. I mean,
what a joke.
You know, my 1022s, I hate to keep coming back to them, but my 1022s run for the most part as long as I use the ammo that it likes. I mean, and that's the nature of any semi-auto. But this one just doesn't seem to be the case. There doesn't seem to be anything it likes to run reliably. And I don't like the issue with having to run a snap cap or worried about dry fire. I just, that's a big turnoff for me.
The people that are like, oh, just don't shoot the last round. Oh, just count your rounds. They're not shooters.
No.
It's easy to say that, but like, go out and shoot. Go out and shoot.
Yep.
Don't be a gun owner.
Be a gun user.
Be a gun user.
You know, yeah, you can count rounds if you're really taking time and you're this or that, but
you're not gonna do it in a survival situation. You're guaranteed.
You throw this up on a stage and you start running a KYL rack, or you start plinking, you're gonna inevitably lose track or this or that. And I know there's guys out there that do count rounds. I shoot with those guys, but the majority of people are not that. It's not that way. You shoot till you're out, and then you move on. And guns should be able to be handled and be designed to be shot that way.
The most reliable gun that you should own should be the survival rifle.
100%.
Period.
100%.
Well, I appreciate you coming out here and shooting with me. And I've had a good time with you here. I got to do the weird left hand shake because my right hand. But it's been a good time. And guys, Henry, fix your rifle.
Yep. You'll have a lot of potential right there. I really do believe. Because there's not too many other compact rifles on the market in this segment.
Yeah, and I've tried the Papoose, and I've tried this and that and the other, and I think this is probably besides the Ruger 1022 with all of the other takedowns, I think this is the best.
Yep.
Because they've all got issues too, but it's just not necessary, guys. It's 2023. It's not 1960.
And let's be real, the 1022 was released in the 60s as well.
Yeah.
And it's the same design.
Right.
I mean, so.
But it was modern and this was current.
True. But just, there's potential here. There's potential. I mean, they could realistically design this receiver with a pick rail on it to begin with.
Well, it has one, but you've got to put an adapter.
I mean,
oh, back here, yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, and you would kill all of this length too.
Exactly.
And here's another thing, guys. Your top rail for your scope is not standard size. You have to buy rimfire rings.
So
is this a survival rifle or a joke?
Yeah.
Make a standard size rail on the top. That shouldn't be hard to figure out.
3/8 dovetails are are long gone at this point.
Yeah. So anyways, guys, thanks again, Justin.
You're welcome.
We're gonna continue shooting firearms that are actually enjoyable to shoot, and I'm gonna sell this thing. I'm gonna sell it with one mag that's almost reliable. As long as you don't touch the magazine or touch the barrel, it's reliable. But we're gonna strip this and sell it, and we're gonna move on. And actually, I'm gonna go keep shooting my Keystone Cricket precision rifle. It's goofy as can be, but you know what? It runs, and it's fun, and I'm slaying targets at 70 yards. So.
And not big targets.
Right.
1-inch targets.
Right.
Pretty consistent.
With the stock included scope and bipod, which are cheap. But hey, we're doing it, right?
Yep.
Fun.
Yep,
So
with the factory package.
thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. I hope this video helps Henry. Honestly, this should be the most helpful video that Henry's ever had done. And instead, somebody's feelings will probably be hurt. Be that as it may, it's what needs to be done. I'll talk to you in the comment section below.